Paying homage to the Mecca of tobacco, Pinar del Rio, Cuba, Abe Flores opened his PDR cigar factory in the Dominican Republic over 10 years ago. Abe is one of the hottest boutique cigar makers in the industry today, earning the number 10 spot on Cigar Aficionado's Top 25 Cigars of 2014 with the Abe Flores 1975 Serie Privada. Abe and his team use Cuban blending traditions in a modern boutique Dominican factory. Smoke PDR cigars and cut, light, and taste what they love to do. Duran Premium Cigars, one of the fastest growing boutique cigar companies, providing smokers a portal into the old Cuban tradition of perfect balance and the lost art of progressive flavor construction. Roberto Pelayo Duran began his career in tobacco over 2 decades ago in Havana, where his reputation grew within Cuban circles. The creation of Duran Premium Cigars has given Roberto the platform to introduce a series of cigars that offer the same quality, construction, and detail which he perfected while in Cuba. Brands include the ultra-premium Roberto P. Duran Premium Cigar Series, Azan Cigars, Naya, and Baracoa. Duran Cigars uses a seed-to-humidor approach, as all tobacco is grown on their farms and rolled in their factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. Rollers have been carefully chosen to carry out Roberto's precise method to ensure the progressive flavor in each cigar. Duran Cigars invites you to make their premium your standard. From the makers of the number 1 cigar in the U.S. in 2013, the Aging Room Quattro F55 comes yet another highly rated cigar, the Aging Room Bin No. 1. The Aging Room Bin No. 1 is a full-bodied Dominican cigar with some of the world's oldest tobacco on the market today, from the harvest of 1997, 98, and 99. The Aging Room Bin No. 1 starts out smooth and builds up in strength and flavor until it reaches its full potential. The Aging Room Bin No. 1 is for the true cigar connoisseur looking for a sophisticated smoking experience with balance, complexity, and character. Aging Room Cigars. Blending is in our DNA. Welcome back, everyone, to the Stogie Geeks show. And I want to get a couple of quick announcements before we get started. First, our big announcement. If you have an Android tablet, like I have here, or you have an Android phone, you can now go to the Google Play Store, search for Stogie Geeks, and there are 2 apps that we have available in the Google Play Store for all Android devices. One is for Stogie Geeks TV, and one is for the Stogie Geeks podcast. So what that means is you can download the app. I have it here on my tablet. This is the TV one. And all of our episodes, our video versions of the episode are in this app. All of our audio-only versions are in the other app. So if you don't like your podcast catcher, or you forget to update your podcast catcher, or you don't want to deal with a podcast catcher, you just want to watch or listen to the show, you can go download the app directly and have that on your Android device. You can stream those episodes live. So basically, I don't have to download this onto my tablet. If I have an internet connection, I can just click play, and the video plays, and you can make it full screen. And I'm actually really impressed, Will, with the quality of the videos that come down in these apps. They're actually a lower quality video that come down in the app, but on the phones and tablets I've tested it on a couple of different devices, Will, they look fantastic. And the audio, of course, sounds great as well. So you can get all of our content by simply installing our apps and going in there and playing the most recent episodes, or going back to the entire archive of Stogie Geeks TV and the Stogie Geeks podcast.
Yeah, I am real excited. I know this is something we've been looking forward to for a while, and if I'm not mistaken, we will be having an iTunes one later this year.
Yes. Yeah, the iTunes one is a little trickier. It's a couple more hurdles we got to jump through, but this year we are going to work on getting the iOS app as well.
So great news. Yeah, definitely check it out. We'll put a link on the website so you can easily download it as well.
Absolutely. Do we want to mention our other sponsor, Will? Or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But yeah, I mean, we added Rocky. I think folks know we did add Rocky Patel. We should have their commercials soon. But yes, Rocky
Excellent.
Patel.
Yeah, so
but we have another one. We're just not ready to announce it yet.
Very, very excited about the Rocky Patel sponsorship. That was what I was referring to. So
yes. There's one other, but that's still it's close. and it's going to be very exciting when you hear about that
Awesome.
as well. And we, any sponsors we take on, we really believe in their products. And Rocky Patel, you and I have very much believed in their products. And
Absolutely.
yep.
So, Will, why don't you start us off?
Well, I remember when the week I missed the show for my daughter's wedding, you and Dave were on, and you kind of started going through some cigars that we got from Drew Estate. And what it was a 6 cigar box press set for Corona cigars called the Exclusiva Mente. And what they did is they took 6 of Drew Estate's tried and true blends and they box pressed them. 3 were in the infused category and 3 were in the traditional category.
Now, Will, it's kind of a slight, almost correction there. The box pressing was a little different on some of those. Some of it was almost like a rounder box press. Some of them was a traditional box press, I want to say. And some of them, I would call it a square press. I mean, it was a perfect square. Like on the Liga Privada, it was a perfect square.
That's correct. Yes, that's correct. And
I
the
thought that
infused
was really
ones were
cool.
soft, and the infused ones were softer press.
Were soft press, yeah.
Yes, but they were, and I'm going to talk about one of those square press ones. Yes, and they were, when you want to say, they were square pressed.
Yeah, I mean a perfect square. I mean, typically when you have a box press, as they call it, right? It's a rectangle, not a square. Right?
Yeah,
but
or it's a soft. Yeah, it's partially rounded too.
Right, and the Tabacco Special, for example, was almost like an oval shaped.
Yes, it was a soft press.
Yeah.
And actually, that's one I smoked. I smoked the Tabacco Special Dolce, which is the Connecticut shade wrapper on that. And I was
Connecticut broadleaf.
I'm so.
Oh no! Did you?
No, the Dolce is the light colored wrapper.
The Dolce is a light colored one. Okay, so they have a shade Connecticut and a broadleaf Connecticut.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went with actually I went with that cigar. It was like a Sunday morning. And I was going to I go to a local place to go watch football games. And I happened to get there early, and I didn't want something heavy, so I actually had that with me, and I smoked it. Kind of on your recommendation. With that one, and I gotta say, Paul, it was an impressive cigar. It had a little bit of it had a sweet. It seemed like it had a sweet tip on it. That was what I kind of saw. I got a little bit of that sugar right up front on it. And it kind of there was a little bit of residual as that went on after that. But it delivered a lot of nice. It definitely delivered. I would say that latte type of flavor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that creaminess and sweetness. Yep.
Yeah. It had some spice on it. It wasn't without some spice. So I actually, I actually was pretty impressed with this particular cigar. It wasn't on the retrohale. I got a little bit of little spice on that retrohale too. It was I'd say it was a mild to medium in strength. It's not going to be a strong cigar, but I'd say it was giving me some medium bodied flavor on that thing. I like the box press too on it. I did, and I've smoked these before. It's not like I haven't, but I enjoyed this cigar. It's enough for me to give it a 5 on this cigar.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's like I said, the box press seemed to be a real nice cigar to have on that one.
Yeah, in that blend, I prefer the broadleaf wrapper. And I really like the my favorite size is the exclusive to Corona cigar in the one that they sent us in that broadleaf.
Yeah, and I gotta give Drew Estate and Corona. I actually got to smoke a couple of these pre-releases about a year ago. I was there with Jeff Borshowitz, but I didn't smoke the flavored ones. And I gotta say, these are not cigars that were, some of these shop exclusives, they tend to underwhelm you. These are really good shop exclusives.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to. I think the only way to get them, you can't buy them online. From what I
No,
understand.
you can. I saw them online.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know why? Because I liked them so much that I'm gonna purchase some online, and I was kind of pricing some out.
Okay. So yeah, but I thought there may be some restrictions on box purchases with that. So that I don't know. I could check with Sam from that on Drew Estate, but
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think those sizes are really special, and certainly in some of the blends, Tobacco Special Negra being one of them. It was some of the best ones that, in my opinion, from my palate, that I liked the most. I liked it so much I went back and I tried a lot of the other Tobacco Special and the Negra, which I did like, but I liked the box press the best. And I tell you what, it really, the whole experience will open my eyes to infused cigars. It really did. I enjoy a lot of other infused cigars now because of that. It was like my gateway into, which is weird because usually it's the opposite, right? A lot of people will smoke an acid or a natural or the Tobacco Special, and that's their gateway into non-infused cigars. For me, it was the opposite. That was a gateway for me into other infused cigars. So
perhaps the most interesting thing about this cigar I smoked was it was very clean on my palate, and I was able to smoke another cigar,
yes,
traditional cigar, after that with no
yes.
problem.
I
I didn't
think
have any of that aftertaste on there.
for Stogie geeks and regular cigar smokers that don't often gravitate towards flavored cigars, try the Tobacco Special is my
Yeah,
recommendation.
I
I
would
mean,
agree.
you may not like it. Try a couple of different sizes. Give it a fair shake. I want to say with confidence that there will be a large percentage of our listeners that will really be turned on to that cigar if you do that.
Yeah, I agree.
And you're not going to smoke it every day, but I guarantee it's going to work your way. It's going to work its way into your rotation.
Yep, I would agree. I was very surprised. You were right on the money with that box press.
Yeah, it was good, right? I smoked an M. Bombay Habano, and these are some that Mel sent us. I think
Yep.
pretty recently, right?
Yeah, he sent those right before Christmas.
Okay.
And that's his Habano blend that he released last year. So that was his fifth line he released. He released that right
Do you know
before
what
the
size he sent us? It was like
he, he said Churchill.
was it a Churchill? Okay.
Yeah, it was
It's a
a
small Churchill.
yeah, it's a smaller. It's like a 7 by. It's smaller, but it is the Churchill. And I was able to tell it because it is sometimes with the photos it's a little tougher, but I
Yeah.
know that didn't have the pigtail, and so that's how I
Right.
knew it was the Habano. But
What
that's a
what a
go ahead.
fantastic cigar. Well, this was my first cigar, or one of my first cigars in 2016. It was the first cigar that when I got back into my review cycle that I smoked in the morning. So I will preface this with I had a very clean palate when I smoked it. So I was really able to get all of the flavors. And I rated it a box split. I mean, it was the perfect strength, the perfect body to have with coffee in the morning. It presented wonderful flavors. It picked up in strength and intensity, a little towards the end. But it was a very enjoyable smoke, and I rated it a box split.
It's a different type of Habano. I'll say I gave it a fiver. I had them a little sooner than probably I normally would have liked to have them. I usually like to keep them sitting for a while, but I was a little more anxious to smoke those. But that was a very unique Habano, and I got that Peruvian tobacco in there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
I
different.
was.
It was different.
It's not your run of the mill Habano, is what I'm gonna. Your sun-grown Habano. It's a different Habano. I'm not saying it's for everybody either, but I liked it. And again, we talked about sponsor that we've really been on board with the cigars, and M. Bombay's really doing some good stuff right now.
Mel's doing a great job. I've
Absolutely.
been really impressed with a lot of the cigars that he sent us. In the
Yeah,
different
really,
blends.
really good quality. And I'm gonna be talking about another one probably in the next week or two.
Hmm.
Is Corojo Oscuro.
Excellent. What else you got, Will?
So I'm gonna go back to the Drew Estate series. I smoked the Herrera Esteli in the Corona Exclusamente box press size. So this is a square press. I
Yes.
mean, um, and I love the Herrera Esteli blend. I've always liked that blend. This is the 6x50 box press, and what I'll say, I'll kind of just say one thing about the cigar. It's not necessarily a negative, but it's like this with a lot of Herrera Estelis. That wrapper is very delicate.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'll just tell people is handle that cigar. You should handle every cigar with 10 to 11 care. Just make sure you handle this cigar with 10 to 11 care, especially when you cut it and stuff, because it is a delicate wrapper. That being said, that it's not a big deal to do it either. because once I lit this thing up, I love this cigar. I thought the box press was great. I thought this was a little bolder than most of the Herrera Estelies in terms of I had it more as a medium strength, but medium to full in body.
Hmm.
There was a lot more weight on it, but it had all those classic Herrera Esteli Cuban-esque flavors. I got a nice vanilla note from this cigar. Um, I loved it in the box press. I had it as a box worthy.
Nice.
I
I
you
didn't. I
you have
didn't. No, I haven't smoked that one, but I smoked the tubo that came in the pack,
right the tubos and that's a new size in a tubo. It's a new
and I
Toro
I
date.
rated the tubo a box split.
Yeah, and I've had the Herrera Estelis anywhere from box split, and I probably would put the Lonsdale, which is still my favorite, as a fight Chuck Norris.
Mm.
And you know that line's been out for about 3 years already. It's hard to believe it, but
Yeah.
yeah,
No, it's a great blend. I encourage everyone to try that for
yeah. And
sure.
especially like I said,
Yeah.
like I said, the box press, they really nailed it with this cigar. Um, so if you like Herrera Esteli, pick these up at Corona.
So, Will, I want to say we talked in a previous segment about the different lists that are out there, and at least one of the lists had the J. Grotto Silk Lancero.
It was actually one of the magazine publications. I believe it was Cigar Snob.
And do you remember where it ranked? I don't remember where it ranked.
Um, I it would I
It was
think in the top 25, but
it
I
was
will
ranked
look it
pretty
up real quick
high
as
on
you
one.
talk.
Yeah, it was ranked pretty. It was ranked pretty high, I think, on one of the lists. So I went back and I smoked one, um, and this one hasn't been sitting in my humidor for very long. And I smoked it, and I tell you what, it is just an awesome mild cigar. Now, I would call it mild to medium. I think there's a lot of aging potential in this blend. I think it presents the flavors fantastic. Burn, draw, and construction. To have a Lancero in that Connecticut wrapper is somewhat unique. And Paul just did a great job with this, and I'm calling it box worthy. I was super I mean, I've smoked a lot of these cigars. I smoked some of the pre-release of some of these cigars.
23,
Yeah,
23.
and I picked it up, and it was awesome. It was awesome. So I was
Uh,
glad to
uh,
see it on other people's lists.
yeah, I mean this is a cigar we launched on Stogie Geeks for Paul. We've been very high on this Connecticut blend. I know the Corona came out at the end of the year, so that was probably too late. But this is a really good Connecticut cigar.
Mm,
Um, we'll have to have Paul back on to talk about because that's a big rating for Paul.
it is.
Cigar Snob's probably one of the biggest. I know Cigar and Spirits has been the other one too, but Paul's starting to get some ratings. So these cigars are really starting to. I mean, we've known about these cigars for a long time. So excellent cigars.
Yeah, this blend I think really works well in that smaller ring gauge, that Petit Corona and the Lancero. I strongly encourage, even if you're not a Connecticut smoker, I think that this is going to appeal to you.
Oh, I totally would recommend it. And like I said, the Lancero is really. I think it's a good representation of that blend too.
Yep, absolutely. Back to you, Will.
I smoked a cigar from Boutique Blends, and it's a cigar that we've smoked other incarnations of this cigar, but I don't think you've smoked this one yet. It's the Aging Room M19 Fortissimo.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an M20 and an M21 Fortissimo. So the M21 Fortissimo was that box. Sorry, it was that Perfecto. That was a really strong cigar. And then the M20 was a box press Maduro. So the M19 kind of takes the best of those two, and it's a box pressed Habano of that. So it's a box pressed Habano in that Fortissimo Perfecto. Um, it's probably one of Raphael's more limited cigars in terms of he tends to just do a batch of these, and when they're gone, they're gone. So he does a smaller batch of these compared to some of his others. Um, I thought this was a great cigar. I always liked the Fortissimos. This one was not as strong as I was expecting though. It really fell mostly in the medium to full range if I had to average it out. So I remember that M21 was a powerhouse when I had it, but this one I don't know. It definitely seemed like it was a little dialed back, and I think that allowed the complexity of this cigar to really shine on this cigar. I mean, it's going to have notes of pepper, nut. It's got a nice natural tobacco flavor. It's got a creamy component in the background, so it smooths out the whole flavor profile. Um, this is a really nice perfecto. It I gave it a box worthy cigar. Its box is a 10. So
Nice.
um, really, like I said, that complexity really came out with maybe, and I don't know if they purposely. I remember Mark Jr. saying that the Fortissimos I think mellowed out over time.
Mm.
So I don't know if this had a little time to mellow down, but that mellowing just seemed to really, and I've liked it even when it's strong, but this it just shined in this. This is a good cigar by Raphael.
Awesome. I smoked the Fuente Añejo number 50 Robusto. Couple things I want to say about this cigar. Um, First, I was kind of thinking about how some people compare this Añejo blend to the Opus X blends. And I think that's really unfair, right? And I kind of relate this to cars, Will. Like there are some people that they want to drive a two-seater convertible, right? And there are other people that are in a point in their lives where they're going to drive a minivan. And it's unfair to compare, minivans to two-seater convertibles, right? And I think a lot of people, they're just two totally different cars, right? Two totally different purposes and whatever. But people say, well, I don't like Opus X, but I really like Añejo much better. And to me, that's an unfair comparison. These are two totally
No,
different
different
cigars,
cigar.
right? Two totally different profiles, totally different tobaccos. Um, it's just an unfair comparison. I'm a huge fan of Opus X. People know that, right?
Right.
The Añejo blends, I tend to be very picky about the size.
Me too.
Certain in Añejo for me, and I hate to pick on Fuente, but I'm gonna kind of nitpick on them a little bit. I think with their Añejo blend specifically, Will, the different years smoke differently.
Different vintages. Yep.
The different vintages they just smoke different. And I know that in all likelihood they're trying very hard to make añejo no matter what year it is, right? But for whatever reason, that blend hasn't done that for them. So that comes to fruition with the Shark. I think certain years of the Shark are better than others. I think this year, 2015, I thought it was a miss for the Shark. I smoked the Shark. I've smoked tons of different vintages of the Shark, aged, not aged, whatever, and I've rated it very high. It's always been my favorite Añejo size. And Mark Jr., if you listen to previous shows, they always said his Robusto is the favorite. So this year, 2015 comes out, I'm like, the Shark wasn't that great. It really wasn't. I smoked the number 50 Robusto from 2015. I smoked two of them, Will, and they've both been absolutely amazing. I mean, box worthy all day long. The smoking time on this is amazing. They smoke really, really slow. You get a ton of flavor. It's a great medium-bodied cigar, maybe medium full. I mean, just kind of bordering on that medium full. Fantastic flavors. They're smoking great. And I rate the 2015 Añejo number 50 a box worthy. Whereas previous years, it may have been a box split or a fiver for me. And some of the ones I smoked with age just really haven't done it for me.
No.
But this one right out of the box, I bought like 10 of them. I mean, because that's all that was left, right? I mean, these are kind of hard to find. So this was a good year for the Añejo number 50.
Yeah. I mean, and that's with these annual releases, it's real important. I mean, I'll see that a lot with Viaje, with their annual. And Andre will tell you, some will change. He's very honest, saying some are going to be better than others.
Right.
And that's a personal profile thing. But I agree with you, especially with the Añejo. There is some differences with that. So, I mean, in general, I say that line is more positives than negatives in the end. So, I mean,
Right.
but every vintage can't be at a the same level. It's I guess the natural product there.
Now, I do find with Opus that it is more consistent. I haven't found that any particular Opus X year is better than another. I think that blend is more consistent, and I think it ages more consistently. Now, having said that, there are certain sizes of Opus X that I like better than others, and I think size really matters with that. You got to find your size.
Yeah. I totally agree. Did you smoke? Have you smoked? I think you have. Have you smoked the Añejo 858?
Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
Oh wait, no, the 888.
I'm sorry, I said the 858. Yes, the kind of the Lonsdale Torpedo.
Lonsdale Torpedo. I have. I think it's good. I think it's going to age really well.
That's what I think.
Fresh out of the box, it didn't impress me, but I think it has a lot of aging potential.
Yeah, I think that was like kind of classic Añejo where it needed some time.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to let's do some more Fuente? How about that?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Don Carlos Personal Reserve Robusto.
Oh.
So this is another one that's kind of interesting. We had the Don Carlos Eye of the Shark, right, which is the shark size.
Uh-huh.
That was Don Carlos, right? Don Carlos.
Yes, yes. It's the golden black bands. The golden black. Yep.
I wasn't impressed with the Eye of the Shark. I've smoked 2 or 3 of these Personal Reserve Robustos in the Don Carlos blend. Super impressed, dude. This cigar is awesome. It's medium full cigar. It starts off medium and then kind of goes medium full, but just has those subtle flavors throughout the cigar. It just perfectly coats your palate with wonderful flavor. Perfect balance, complexity. It was a fight Chuck Norris in my book, dude. And I smoked 2 or 3 of these, and this is a fight Chuck Norris all day long.
When I went up for the anniversary show, I think I might have mentioned this, but I went over to Joyle's for Thursday Night Football, and I went to Stogie Center, and I wanted to get an Eye of the Shark.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm not going to tell you not to buy it. He goes, here, I'm going to give you this. And he handed me the Robusto. Now, I was a little It was a little distracting watching that.
It's a cigar you got to pay attention to. There's a lot of subtle flavors.
But I did like it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I have a couple more now that I can go back and smoke.
Go back and smoke them now. I tell you what, they probably got even a little better since they've had rest in your, like even a few weeks rest in your humidor has done wonders for this cigar.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was a fight Chuck Norris. I was kind of all over the map this week. I had some try ones. I had some Oasis. Do we want to talk about an Oasis? I added in there. Let's go on the Fuente trend.
Okay.
I talked about this. I think I spoke about this on a previous show. This is the Opus X Rosado Oscuro Oro. This is that gold box we've been talking about.
Right.
And the reason we've been talking about it is because I smoked one of the Robustos and I was overwhelmed. And a lot of shops only got 1 box, maybe 2 boxes if you were lucky. This is the box, the yellow box, and there's, I should have it in front of me, 4 different sizes, 3 of each. Is there 4 or 5 different sizes?
I thought it was 5 of 3 cigars and 5 sizes.
3 cigars, 5 sizes. And I smoked the Robusto at the Cigar Corner holiday party, actually. And, dude, this cigar was awesome. I mean, it opened up, like, immediately and just was an explosion of flavors. And it just kept at your palate with just flavor after flavor after flavor. It started off kind of medium. It ended up almost like full. Like the transition was from kind of mild to like really full at the end. This cigar was Oasis for me, dude. This Robusto was Oasis. Now, having said that, there's a the longest size in this box, which I don't have the size in front of me, but it was something like, it might be a 6 by 46 or 6 by 42 or something like that. It didn't overwhelm me, right? But the Robusto in the Oscuro Oro was Oasis, hands down.
Wow.
Hands down. Really, really good cigar. So we'll be trying to procure more of those, which are very limited. It was almost like Um, it was similar to Angel Share with some amped up strength. Because, the regular Opus X line has that like leathery component, very distinct flavors. Angel Share isn't as strong and has some good flavors, and the strength is definitely not as much as a regular Opus X line. But this Ascora kind of had those Angel Share kind of flavors with a little bit of stronger profile, if that makes
Okay.
any sense.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so that was kind of and shops recently got some of the Angel Share in, which I love the Angel Share blend.
Great blend.
Yeah. So Fuente is just coming up with some great stuff
They,
lately.
they they quietly had it. They're so quiet and they're so hush hush
Yeah.
on what they do.
Yeah, they
They had
don't.
they had a big year if you think about
They
it.
did. They don't do a lot of marketing buzz, or if any, right? But they're just releasing these blends, and they're not all hits. Like we said, the Eye of the Shark was we weren't overly impressed with that. Not that it was a bad cigar, right? But it was okay. But some of their other blends are just out of this world. I mean, they really pop.
Yeah, I mean, we talked the Destino Siglo obviously was probably the best one I've had from
Yeah.
them this year. But again, they don't do a lot of that buzz, and that's why we don't see a lot of those. And I'm as guilty of it as any on the top 25 list
Right.
because yeah. So, but they had a big year.
Yeah, and to me, with a lot of these special releases, size matters. And the unnamed reserved is coming out in two different sizes. It'll
Yep,
be interesting to see which size smokes better. Size really, I mean, and that's some people may like a different size or whatever, but size definitely matters.
absolutely, absolutely.
Back to you, Will.
I smoked a cigar from Guayacan.
I did
Um,
too. I smoked a Guayacon too.
this is a shop exclusive by Guayacan.
Okay.
But I want to
You've
talk
talked
about
about Guayacon in the past. Are they bigger in the southeast than they are here in the northeast?
yeah, I'd say they have a
Mm.
bigger foothold in the southeast. They used to be with House of Emilio. Now they're on their own.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but it's a guy by the name of Noel Rojas owns it. He
Hmm.
blended that Kilo cigar for United Cigar Group.
Okay.
So he blended a cigar for Fred Rui, so one of his nomads. So he's got a factory. Um, he came out with so the story of this is Sabor de Chattanooga was originally a cigar that he brought to the Chattanooga Tweet Up back in the summer, and he kind of got his start there. So he brought this Sabor de Chattanooga, which is a 7x42. He calls it a Lancero. I'm going to say it's more like a Lonsdale,
Hmm.
but it's a 7x42 with a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. Um, and I smoked it then. It was really good. But I didn't. I was impressed enough to buy a box of them because the price was really, really good on these cigars. It was like I want to say it was like $89 for the box of 10 of these, right? It
Hmm.
wasn't, and I put them away and I cracked open the box during the Christmas break. And this cigar was incredible. It was um it was just everything I'd want from a Connecticut broadleaf, but it was very smooth. Um, Sometimes Connecticut broad can be a little rough, a little more rough or rugged. You
Hmm.
think about, especially if you go on the opposite end of it, like a Henry Clay, very rough, gritty cigar. This is the opposite. It was really, really smooth. Had the nice chocolate notes and underlying creaminess. I love the size of this cigar. Since then, I've been told from David Jones of Leaf Enthusiast, who works for Burns, that this
Yeah.
is now a shop exclusive. So it's no longer just an event cigar. They have
Hmm.
it there. I gave it a box worthy cigar. Again, boxes of 10. Again, another shop exclusive. I've been saying, there's a lot of these shop exclusives that missed the mark. This one was one that did not. Um, Definitely a cigar worth checking out. I have more of these, Paul. I can send them your way.
Okay. Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
wait to try it.
yeah, yeah. I think it's the best Guayacán I've had. I think it's the best cigar by them I've had.
Nice. So I smoked a Psycho 7 Maduro. This is from Ventura Cigar Company.
Uh huh.
Um, I'm not sure the whole story behind this particular brand, Will. I think you might be a little more familiar with them. I've come across several samples from this cigar company, and this was the first one that I smoked. Um, I don't. Do you have any other background information on this cigar, Will?
Yeah. So what this Ventura cigars? They are they are working with a few different factories for their blends, but with the Psycho 7, they're actually making that cigar down at Davidoff factories.
Interesting.
Yeah. And they
And is
have
that do they also make that Project 805 there as well?
they make that at La Aurora.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they make it at La Aurora. So the Psycho 7 is it's a blend of seven tobaccos, and then they have a natural and a Maduro. So the one you smoked is the Maduro.
It was in the Robusto size.
It was in the yeah, it's a 5.5 by 50 Robusto is what it is. It's not a very expensive cigar from what I understand.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't a horrible cigar. It just it didn't appeal to my palate. It was kind of for me. It was kind of one dimensional, and didn't keep my attention enough to really make it like exciting for me. You know, so I rated it a try one.
I probably have that at the same. Here's what I'll say: when you get into these blends, sometimes with the set, when you get into 7 and 8 tobacco blends, I find sometimes it's maybe too much. It's like
Hmm.
putting too many ingredients in there,
Right.
and that's just my take on that per se.
It's
I
kind of like
just
when you mix too many colors of Play-Doh together, it just comes out this very bland, like beige color.
right,
you know.
and we've talked about, for example, the Alec Bradley Fine and Rares over time,
Yeah,
especially
they do
as
the same thing, dude.
they
Yeah,
do this
exactly.
10 tobaccos, and so I sometimes find that is not necessary. I would not. It doesn't wow me to go buy a cigar because I've seen that happen a lot.
Right. Um, not in my list because I hate when I rate a cigar, try one, right? Because I hate to give negative ratings, but
But that's not negative. That you're telling people to still go buy
just
it
go try it.
and
Yeah, I
and
mean,
see what you
like I
think.
said, it
Yeah,
wasn't horrible.
yeah.
Um, but I did smoke the Project 805, and I'm gonna smoke some more before I rate it. I think my palate was kind of off when I smoked it, so
But that's a very that cigar. Okay, so the Project 805 is
totally
kind of
different cigar, right? It's a mild,
well,
much in the strength profile, right? The Psycho 7, the Maduro is a much stronger cigar than the 805. 805 is like a mild to medium cigar, right?
yeah.
Mm.
But what they're doing with the Psycho, I mean, sorry, the Project 805 is they're using something called Andulo in that tobacco. They're using Andulo tobacco, which is something that they normally use in snuff.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah. So what happens is, and from what I understand with Andulo, when they cure it, it kind of cures in these big. You ever see like big cheese racks?
Yeah.
It almost looks like something like that, and they kind of shave it off there because it kind of
Mm-hmm.
hardens. And that's what they use for snuff. So they put some of that in there. I've had it. I think it's really it's a cigar one. I've noticed it needs time, and it's an acquired. It's either you're gonna like it or you're not. It's kind of
Right.
a very experimental cigar in my book.
I found it to be very dry on my palate,
Yep.
and I
That
don't know if that cigar just needed some more time, if it was a humidification thing, or if I was just, my palate was dry. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't tell, so I didn't want to rate the cigar because I didn't feel like I was giving it a fair shake. You know what I mean?
hmm Yeah.
So I have another one. I'm going to smoke that one, and then we'll give it the final verdict.
Yeah.
Back to you, Will.
First of two Chuck Norris cigars.
Ooh.
Um, the first one, and this is kind of one that I smoked again, but I kind of just never reviewed it. But it was a top 10 cigar for me. It's Casa Fernandez's Aniversario 2015 LF Celine. Um, this is part of their Aniversario series. It's Nicaraguan Puro. The Aniversarios have traditionally been box pressed. This is a 6 by 56 rounded cigar. I love the Aniversario blends. I don't think you've had them. What I'll
No, I
say,
haven't.
yeah, this is what I'll say is, everyone's been talking about Warp cigars this year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they've talked about ECCJ from Dion, and I'd say the ECCJ and this is no disrespect to Warp cigars, it's had some great stuff. The ECCJ and this Anniversario were the two best cigars to come out of Casa Fernandez this year. Slight edge maybe to the ECCJ.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
cigar.
yeah, this is a really good cigar. I'll just kind of say if folks really like what you've been seeing in some of the Warp cigars, like the Florida Valleys and the Sky Flowers, just try this cigar. You won't be disappointed with it. I give it, like I said, a fight Chuck Norris with this cigar.
Nice.
Yep.
And what was your other one?
Okay, so this one was the Lito Gomez small batch number 6.
So that's the latest small batch.
That is the one. Yeah, this shipped probably started shipping, I'd say around, I want to
December?
say December.
Yeah.
I got a couple of them. I put them away till after Christmas. Um, Now the small batch. Have you smoked the small batches before?
I have quite a
I
few.
so I'd say I never smoked number one, but like number two and number three were epic cigars. They were some of the best cigars I've had. Then they did there were a couple. There were two four releases, a four and a four Oscuro, and then a
Hmm.
number five. They were good, but I didn't feel that they were at that epic level. Um, this one is kind of like this is incredible. I almost pulled the Oasis rating on this cigar. I came very close to it.
Really?
Yeah, it's the best LaFleur I've had, and I'm not. They've made some great cigars. This is the best one I've had in a long time. Um, all the tobaccos are from a 2009 vintage, and it's a Dominican Pelo de Oro wrapper. This cigar, it was an absolute flavor bomb from start to finish. It had this cherry oak flavor to it. Um, it had some of that, a little bit of a nutty flavor to it. It had, of course, the classic LaFleur pepper note to it. And this is one of these cigars. It has that, and I've heard, Duran Cigars talks about that progressive flavor, that evolutionary progressive flavor. You're gonna get it with this cigar. So this is gonna start out medium, and by the last third, it's that kick-ass LaFleur that you're gonna
Hmm.
get. Um, Very, very, very good cigar. No construction issues whatsoever. Um, it's like I said, this is if you kind of like some of those older small batches, it's different. It's not the same as the three or the two, but it's at that level. Um, this is probably the best cigar I've had since I started rating cigars for 2016, which was after Thanksgiving.
So it's interesting. I have a Lido Gomez small batch number one in January of 2013 that I rated Fight Chuck Norris.
Really, I've never had
Hmm.
that one.
Yep.
Yeah, so like I said, I think we've talked about the small batches, and like I said, there's different vintages that go into those tobaccos too. So maybe they had whatever they got. I just felt the tobaccos were really, really, really good. And what they did nice on this cigar too, they put a secondary band on it that says SB6, which I really liked because some of those, if the other small batches, some of them are tough to tell from one from another, but this one you can easily tell it what it is.
Hmm.
So very, very definitely, I'm gonna get more of these. They're not cheap. They're $19, but they're worth it.
Cool. Small batch is an epic series of cigars.
Yeah, I really think small batch is back, and like I said,
Oh, that's
LaFleur's
good.
had
I
a
can't wait to
yeah.
try that.
Yeah, I have some more LaFleurs I'm going to talk about next week. I went through Lennox some more, and I'm starting to kind of get one over with that cigar.
Um, I tried a couple of ones that. I rated a couple of try ones. Koyaba Red Label.
Uh huh.
Did I say that right? Koyaba.
I don't know if you said it right. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it's Koyaba Red Label. They've got a red, a white, and some other colors. They denote the different blends by color. This was a massive stick, dude. This was
Big cigar. Yeah, I'm looking at the picture.
almost like an A size, like a Churchill on steroids kind of thing. Um, it wasn't a bad cigar. I mean, it did have some flavors, like some cedar flavors kind of thing going on. Not a whole lot of complexity. I just wasn't a big fan. It didn't hit my palate. It could have been the size. There are some other Koyabas in different sizes that I've seen people, posting that they seem to like much better. So I would like to try this in maybe some smaller sizes. I might get a lot more from the blend. Certainly in this, A size cigar, for me, it was a try one.
Okay.
That's the red label. I also smoked a Guayacon Robusto. This one
Mm-hmm.
for me, again, it wasn't bad. It kind of had that like one-dimensional, little bit of earthiness to it, a little bit of spice, but really wasn't a whole lot going on for me on my palate. And I also rated that one a try one.
That's why when I had the Maduro, that the one I talked about,
Yeah.
it was a. I mean, he's done some good cigars, and the original one, like I said, it's about a try one for me as well. But that, like I said, that broadleaf Lonsdale blew me away.
Mm.
Yeah.
Then let's talk about a box-worthy cigar, Ernesto's Humidor. Have you smoked any of these cigars yet, Will?
No, I can't get them.
I'll
I
send you
can't get
some.
them.
I'll send you
Okay.
some. Yeah, I
Do you have
bought.
do you have a do you have an Ernesto's humidor?
I do. I bought one, and it actually is like a humidor. It actually has a little magnetic seal thing on it.
Uh huh.
So the story behind this is, Ernesto kind of has his own personal walk-in humidor in the factory, and he had a bunch of blends in there, and he was sharing them with a bunch of people that work for EPC, and they were like, "These cigars are really good. Why don't you release these?" He's like, "Well, I don't have a ton of them." He's like, "I don't have enough to like make a regular release of it," and they were like, "Well, why don't you just make like a 10 count pack of each one and call it, I don't know, Ernesto's Humidor." So that's what he did, right? So there's a Colorado,
Hmm?
a Connecticut, and a Maduro. And you can see my ratings on the Colorado and the Connecticut, which are both very good. The Maduro, so far, might be my favorite one. I rated it a box worthy. This is an awesome Maduro. Awesome. Great flavors that come from the cigar. Very subtle changes throughout the cigar, but it holds your attention, gives you that great Maduro flavor. It's a fantastic cigar. It's tons of smoking time in the cigar, and like I said, I rated it box worthy.
Yeah, they did. I'm looking at the pictures. They did some very different banding on that cigar.
Yeah, different bands from the Ernesto. I think all three of the blends in this humidor are great. Um, I would recommend our listeners go try each of the three different blends in it first. See if you can buy a single of them. If you're a fan of EPC like I am, you're probably going to end up buying one of the humidors. And it's kind of nice. You get like a humidor with it. But I think having 10 of each blend is a great. Having a box of 10 of each one is perfect. It's perfect.
Are the retailers cracking open those and splitting them up?
I have seen certain retailers split some of them up. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's good. That's good.
And I have seen other ones that will, sell the whole humidor as well. They're limited, right? I mean, again, the whole story comes behind. He doesn't have enough cigars to make a full release of it, and they're all in like this Toro size, so they're all the same size. But you get a ton of smoking time out of them. I think it's $240 retail for the humidor, but the amount of time of smoking and enjoyment you get out of it, I think it's priced right.
You get 30 cigars, right? In
Yeah, you
there,
get 30 cigars in that. So
plus a humidor.
I think they did a great job with it.
Yeah, so that's not a bad price, and then you get a humidor if you buy the whole thing.
And I can't wait to see how these blends age. I think age is going to be, excuse me, very kind.
Ernesto's stuff over the past few years has needed age, and it's done well on. It's performed well under age.
I agree.
Yeah,
Back to you, Will.
I'm done.
Do we have a contest?
We do.
I totally dropped the ball in the contest.
Yeah, we have a. I mean, yeah, we should. Was there a prize pack 169?
There probably is.
Okay.
Do you want to come up with a question based on our interview?
Yes.
Okay, let's
And
do that.
all right. Robert and I smoked a cigar called the Kutsu. What is Kutsu?
Yes, good one.
Yep.
Email the answer to from our interview with Robert Holt from Southern Draw Cigar. What is kudzu, which is the name of one of Robert's cigars, and email that answer to the show at StogieGeeks.com. We'll pick a random winner, and you will win a random prize pack.
And a T-shirt, right?
And a T-shirt, a Smoke
Yep.
Naked Stogie Geeks T-shirt, and a random prize pack, which
5-pack.
could be anything. It could be 3 cigars, could be 5 cigars, could be 3 cigars, a cutter and a lighter, and a T-shirt. You win fabulous prizes when you listen to Stogie Geeks.
A couple of notes on contests. 167 and 168, we have not sent those out yet, and
Okay.
the reason was I think folks know we had a little bit of delay with some post production, and we wanted to give some folks a chance to get in on those contests and we got all those out now. So I'm gonna extend those another week before we pick a winner.
Okay.
Because
So
we just got the 168s out, yeah. So we'll give folks but yeah, we will pick a winner. So just if folks are wondering about that.
Okay. Yeah, we have lots of fabulous prizes to give out. So
Yeah. Yep. We like doing that.
pays to listen.
Hmm.
Well, excellent. Will, as always, thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. It's good to be finally back here.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for watching and listening. Make sure you check us out on your Android device. Download our new app where you can watch and listen to the show. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week on the Stogie Geek Show.